Hi guys! Whenever I talk about location search or getting shooting permits, usually the list of necessary documents includes a pitch deck. And what I mean when I talk about a pitch deck is actually a Japanese document called Kikakusho. And that's not really exactly the same as a pitch deck in English. So today we're going to look at what a Kikakusho is and how it is used. In Japan, a Kikakusho, or project overview, is the most important document that you need during pre-production. You will be asked for one whenever you contact a film commission, a location, sometimes prop rental places, costume rental places, equipment rental places will ask for one. You need it when you're looking for actors through agencies, and when you apply for shooting permits. Any kind of pre-production work actually involves this Kikakusho. So make one in Japanese. The Kikakusho differs from a pitch deck in that it usually does not include too much information about the artistic aspects of a project. While a pitch deck is usually there to sell the movie to someone, the Kikakusho is sometimes used for that, but is also used to just give straightforward information about those points that are most crucial to people who have something to do with the project. Your Kikakusho should at least include the following information: the title of your project, its genre, the type of project, let's say if it's a feature film or a short film, a commercial, if you're doing a live TV broadcast, write that down. Also give the length of the finished product and a plot summary. You should also give some information on the background of the project, how it came to be, if, as I say, based on a book, or if you're tackling certain social issues or topics, write that down as well. Also, if you use crowdfunding, for example, just put it in. Give the names and maybe a short introduction of usually the director and the producers. If you have a DOP or other staff that is well known, put them in as well. Have some information on your main cast. If you haven't cast yet, it's also good to just put some information on the characters and maybe an image cast. Also give some information about the schedule, not just when you want to shoot, but also when the release is planned and how. And then last but not least, put the contact details of your production manager or local fixer in Japan so that anyone who gets the Kikakusho has the knowledge of where to call or where to send emails to about the project. From experience, I would say a professional looking Kikakusho can be really important, especially when you're looking for good cast or for locations that aren't easy to get. That being said, most people don't really read through the Kikakusho in detail. So I would rather rely on a few more pictures to get the overall atmosphere of the project across than rely on lengthy explanations in text. When you're applying for a shooting permit, let's say at the police or at a public office, a shortened version is fine. They're not going to look at any artistic or background information of your project anyway. Whenever you're out and about looking for locations or maybe meeting with people who might become involved in your project, make sure you have printouts of your Kikakusho with you. It makes for a good first impression of you and your project. Last but not least, let's have a look at some examples of Kikakusho that I've made in the past. It's all for indie films. And we'll be looking at a standard length Kikakusho, at a somewhat shortened passion project Kikakusho, and then a very short one that I made in 5 minutes to get a filming permit from the police. So let's start with a full-length Kikakusho for a feature film project here in Japan. This was shot over several years in 4 parts under the working title D Project. And we're looking at the Kikakusho for the final and 4th part of it. So as you can see, this Kikakusho has 7 pages all in all, and I'm going to go through them real quickly. So we start out with a title page, obviously titled the word Kikakusho somewhere And usually the production company signed. This was a collaboration between the independent film team Project Yamaken and the theater group Rokuban Shido. So we put them both in here. We got one page that explains how the project came to be, explains that it is an independent movie and the specifics of the project. We got one page with the plot. I redacted a part so I don't give away too much. You have a few screenshots from the trailer so people kind of get a feeling of what it's going to look like. We have one page of the main characters. We did have at the very beginning 3 pages that were the main cast with the characters and pictures of the cast as well. And at some point we said it's just too long and we cut it down to just one page with the characters. Here you have one page about how the project has worked so far and what the overall schedule is. So you can see here that we filmed each half year. We filmed one part and then we would screen it in small screenings, film the next part, screen it, film the next part, screen it, film the next part. And this is where we're at this point. That's where this Kikakusho is for the 4th part. And showing it like this, I feel makes the reader understand that this is a project that has been going on for a while successfully and that they can put trust in a group that has managed to, stay on schedule for the project for over a year at this point. We have one page about the production team and especially the director here with just a number of his prior movies and some of the awards he's won to show that it is a proper director and a proper production team, although it is not a production company. It's always good to install trust in the team that you're working with. And finally, we have one page that just gives the very basics. What genre is it? How long is it going to be? How is it filmed? How is it going to be released? Who is going to release it and who is making it? What's the target audience? And then we have the writer and the director over here. And then me as producers, contact details over here. Obviously, I redact my personal contact details, but this is what a full-length feature film Kikakusho can look like. Obviously, it's up to you. The formatting is absolutely up to you, but this is, I think, a good example for a Kikakusho that has worked quite well for us in the past. The second Kikakusho we're going to have a look at is much shorter. You can see it's just 2 pages. And this movie was a very short film about an elderly gentleman and his dog, based on a book. If you can read Japanese, you can see that it's much less thoughtfully structured than the other Kikakusho was, and I'll explain why. I asked the producer, who was also one of the writers of the original book, to write about the project. He gave me one part about the origin of this project, how it was a book of short stories about dogs, and how he thought about making this into a short film project. Then he gave me some paragraphs about the specific episode, but woven into it was kind of his personal relationship with the topic. And then we have the paragraphs over here that talk about the goal of making a short film here and a little bit more into detail as to what they plan on doing with it in the future. Here you have a short paragraph about the budgeting because they did crowdfunding for it, and that's explained there. And then over here you have the overall schedule from crowdfunding, filming, and release. You also have links to the trailer that they shot before we actually shot the short film, and a link to the crowdfunding campaign, and at the end again my contact details because I was line producer. So it is obviously much shorter and a little bit less well organized than the other Kikakusho, but I decided to leave the text that the producer gave me almost unchanged because I felt that you can read his personal feelings about the project very well, and that especially with a topic like dogs, where you have a lot of people who are really, really interested and, really love dogs and are really willing to help out, that this would translate better to them. And in fact, based on this Kikakusho, which I gave to every location that we talked to, for example, we got some great feedback. And a Kikakusho like this that shows the passion that is behind a project can definitely be helpful if the topic is right and if you bind it together so you still have the most important information that people need who want to work with you on this project. The final Kikakusho we're going to look at is a very short one. As you can see, it's just one page. This I actually made in like 15 minutes, honestly, because a friend of mine who is a writer-director, he needed to do some outside shoots and he asked me to help him get the road use permit. So in order to get a road use permit, you do need to have a Kikakusho for your project. So I made this really quickly. You basically have the title, the word Kikakusho, you have the plot summary, and you have some very basic information on the movie, how long it is, how it was shot. You have the 2 cast members, you have the crew members, and then you have my contact details, and that's it. And that was enough to get a shooting permit from a police station. So as you can see, a really stripped down version of a Kikakusho is totally enough for police station or other like public offices when you apply for a shooting permit. All right, and that's it about Kikakusho. I hope this will be helpful for your next project when you film in Japan. And if you liked this video and think people might enjoy it, feel free to share it. And as always, stay safe. Bye.